What's going on, guys? It's FastCat1, and today I bring you my first episode of Head2Head, basically where you guys, the subscribers, pick two similar weapons to compare, and I'll give you my overall opinion on both weapons and also tell you which weapon I prefer the most. So to kick off the series, today I'm comparing the M98B and the SRR-61, which to me seem like the top two sniping rifles in Battlefield 4. Now, after having used both, I can say that they're some pretty good sniping rifles. So let's go over the main stats, since there are only a couple differences between these two sniping rifles. So both of them do a maximum damage of 100 and then a minimum damage of 59. Their drop off starts at 12.5 meters. Their fire rate is 40 rounds per minute. And they have the same reload times of 4.8 seconds when fully empty and 3 seconds when one bullet in the magazine. Now, there is one tiny difference, and that is the magazine size, which I feel doesn't really make a difference in the performance of the weapon, and that is 11 rounds for the M98B versus 8 rounds for the SRR-61. So there's not much of a change here, only 3 bullets. Like I said, I don't think there's that much of a difference between performance, but it does allow you to stay on the battlefield a lot longer without reloading. So that is a good thing about those extra 3 bullets. Now, as many of you know, I like to play the recon class a little bit on the aggressive side, so I prefer to play in smaller maps rather than in huge open maps. So when I actually use these sniping rifles in smaller maps like Operation Locker, they felt exactly the same. I mean, I didn't feel that much of a difference, but something I did feel was that it was a lot easier for me to hip fire with the SRR-61 rather than with the M98B. It could probably be because of its barrel design, but according to stats, there is no actual difference between the hip fire accuracy of both weapons. Another thing that I noticed about the SRR-61 is that you can zoom in a lot faster. Now, please take in consideration that I was using the 8x scope for both weapons, so I didn't really try them with any other scope since the 8x scope is my favorite. But then again, there's a possibility that these times change depending on what kind of scope you're using. Now, when it comes to long range, the disadvantages go to the SRR-61, and this is due to the M98B having all the goodies that I like to call. And for example, this is the higher muzzle velocity of 650 meters per second versus the 620 meters of the SRR-61. Now, this is a 30 meter per second difference, which you might not notice in close quarters, but then again, when I actually tried the sniping rifles at long range, I actually noticed a difference between the two, and I felt like it was easier to take out long range moving targets with the M98B since I didn't have to adjust my scope that much. But even though the M98B has a faster muzzle velocity, it has a lot more drop to it, so its bullet drops at 9.81 meters per second versus the SRR's bullet dropping at 6 meters per second. So this is kind of gets confusing at one point, since the M98B has a faster muzzle velocity and has more drop to it, but the SRR-61 has a lower velocity but has less drop to it. So in a way, this is a way for the SRR-61 to come back at the M98B's faster muzzle velocity, but what I'm about to say is probably going to just completely destroy the SRR-61, since on the loadout screen of Battlefield 4, when you take a look at the statistics of the SRR-61, it claims that it has the farthest distance or range, as you might call it, but in reality, that's not true. The M98B actually holds the longest range at 3,250 meters versus the SRR-61's range of 3,100 meters. So this might kind of discourage the SRR-61 users, because after using this sniping rifle for a long time, basing their knowledge of the Battlefield 4 loadout statistics, which were just incorrect. So this might kind of discourage the people that actually use the SRR-61 and make them not want to use it anymore and actually go towards the better sniping rifle, which I think is the M98B. So to recap, the M98B has a faster muzzle velocity, a longer range, and a bigger magazine over the SRR-61. And the only thing the SRR-61 has to counter this is that it has less bullet drop per second, and I don't think this is actually enough to counter everything that the M98B has. So if I would pick a sniping rifle, it would definitely be the M98B, and this is because it just has a lot of things that will benefit you while sniping on the battlefield, and also will make me a lot more confident because I know I have a really good sniping rifle in my hand. So yeah guys, this wraps up the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Remember to leave a rating as it does help out the video and the channel a lot. Also, tell me in the comment section below which out of these two sniping rifles do you prefer the most. And as always guys, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button for more head-to-head comparisons. And as always, this was Fast Cutting 101, and see you in the next video.